My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Today, the optional memorial of Saint Joseph the Worker. What a beautiful Mass we can do today. Joseph, you, a worker. Like us, we have our work to do. And we ask you to help us to understand more, because when you worked in Nazareth, you found Jesus there in the middle of your work, so often a co-worker with you. And you want me to find Jesus in my work too. Today's gospel offered, which is proper for today's optional memorial, Lord, you are coming to Nazareth. It says in Matthew, Jesus came to his native place and taught the people in their synagogue. What a homecoming, Lord. What memories. You haven't been away that long, but what memories come back. And when we go to places we've been before and been away a while, we look for those places that look the same, that haven't changed. We look for ways to stir our memories by seeing places, people that move us so. And Lord, you come to your own. You lived so much of your life there in Nazareth. This time when you are there, however, it is in your public life. You have a reputation already, Lord, and people are wondering what's going on here. I have a great respect for people who have certain professions, especially that of EMTs, or those who are emergency room doctors. Amazing task they have. Sometimes it's little things, bandaging up small cuts or resetting dislocated fingers. But then there's other times when someone is brought in who has a large loss of blood. They're dying, and you don't have much time if you're that doctor or that EMT to find what is the source of that bleeding. How do I stop it? How do I save their life? When they come to you, when you have that profession, it's not just any day of that person then, it's the worst day of their life. If I were that person, what would I say? Lord, into your hands I commend my spirit. And Mary, pray for me now and at the hour of my death. But most of my time, of my life, will not be the worst day of my life. Perhaps I have another temptation. Perhaps it's a boring life, it seems. Seems nothing's going on. Jesus, they have heard that you have done many miracles in other places, many great things. They say, where did this man get such wisdom and mighty deeds? Is he not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother named Mary, and his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Are not his sisters all with us? Where did this man get all this? And they took offense at him. They have lived a life of many years alongside you, Jesus, and have not seen the extraordinary things they have heard of done in Capharnaum and other places. They want a sign, they want an explanation, they want to understand, and they took offense at him. Does familiarity breed contempt? Jesus, help me. Saint Joseph, intercede for me, because I too, for the most of my life, have many ordinary days. Help me to find you there. Help me not to be bored. Help me not to find the horror of the same old thing. C.S. Lewis, in one of his Screwtape letters, has the devil speaking this way. The horror of the same old thing is one of the most valuable passions we have produced in the human heart, an endless source of heresies in religion, folly in counsel, infidelity in marriage, and inconstancy in friendship. The humans live in time and experience reality successively. To experience much of it, therefore, they must experience many different things. In other words, they must experience change. And since they need change, the enemy, being a hedonist at heart, has made change pleasurable to them, just as he has made eating pleasurable. But since he does not wish them to make change any more than eating, an end in itself, he has balanced the love of change in them by a love of permanence. He has contrived to gratify both tastes together on the very world he has made, by that union of change and permanence which we call rhythm. He gives them the seasons, each season different, yet every year the same, so that spring is always felt as a novelty, yet always as the recurrence of an immemorial theme. He gives them in his church a spiritual year. They change from a fast to a feast, but it is the same feast as before. Jesus, grant me that simplicity wherein I can take hold of this rhythm like a child and look forward to going at it again. Yes, Christmas time gives way to ordinary time. Ordinary time gives way to Lent. Lent gives way to Easter, and Easter back to ordinary time. Let me not be caught up in wanting even more than that. Saint Joseph, intercede for me that I might find Jesus as you did in everyday work. You, the worker, help me to find joy in hunting down my Jesus. Intercede for me. One writer says, there are times when I have gone to Mass or other church activities and I can just feel the boredom of those in charge. The presider, the preacher, the musicians, the speaker, the teacher, the confessor. It's one of the great dangers of ministry, of spiritual leadership. Boredom. And I'm convinced that this boredom is at the root of many of the church's ills. People get bored, and what do? First, they communicate that boredom in various ways to those to whom they minister. You're bored? Well, this must be boring, then. Not worth my time or attention. Certainly not life-changing or life-saving. But the bored also do damage in other ways. Mostly their boredom drives them to innovation. I'm bored with this. It's lost its meaning. Therefore, everyone else must be bored as well. It's time to shake it up. What they forget then is that while you, the priest, might be bored, the person to whom you're ministering probably is not. If they were, they wouldn't be sitting in that pew. They wouldn't be in that confessional. They wouldn't be in that communion line. Maybe. How am I to survive all this? Jesus, you have said, I make all things new. May I find you and see how you do that. I am passing through life, getting older every day, and it's a linear way towards my death, but it's an exciting time. This can happen in my everyday. Carol Houselander says, every day crowds of unknown people came to him, Jesus, who feel as hard, as cold, as empty as the tomb. They come with the first light before going to the day's work, and with the gray mind of early morning, hardly able to concentrate at all on the mystery which they themselves are part of, impelled only by the persistent will of love, not by any sweetness of consolation, and it seems to them as if nothing happens at all. But Christ's response to that dogged, devoted will of a multitude of insignificant men is his coming to life in them, his resurrection in their souls. In the eyes of the world, they are without importance, but in fact, because of them and their unemotional communions, when the world seems to be finished, given up to hatred and pride, secretly, in unimaginable humility, love comes to life again. There is resurrection everywhere. Jesus, if I will open myself to your grace, you are rising again in my heart every day. Your grace helps me to find you in the little things, like in Nazareth where you lived. Your grace brings me back to life again in confession if I have fallen. And every day, especially in this time of Easter season, I can understand this could be the greatest day of my life. This could be the day that I finally move ahead deeply in my interior life. That through the intercession of Saint Joseph, I find my work to be wonderful, even if it's repetitive, seemingly the same, monotonous. You have risen, Lord. The world will never be the same, and the joy must go on through my life and the lives of those that I can touch. May I never be bored. May every day be an exciting day, a day that could be the greatest day, because yet again, one more day, I find you in my ordinary work, let alone in my Holy Communions and Mass. Joseph, humble worker, it was your joy to be working with Jesus every day. You found him. Help me to find him in my joy. He is risen, and he will come again in my life when I open myself to this grace. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help for putting them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.